Yo! Welcome back to Mega Man X4 Weapon Master, a no-damage run dedicated to using X's arsenal to its fullest potential. I think we all know why this stage is next. Don't really need to go into all of that. I consider Web Spider stage an earlier breather, but I'll let you know now that there's not a lot to say about this stage when we get to the breakdown. But hey, that just means I'll get to fill the void with more weapon talk, considering the weapon we acquired today is a bit controversial.
Kono kougeki kawaseru ka?
Wait, hold up. Let's do a round 2 for this. I remember recording this damn stage at like 5 in the morning, and I have no idea why I didn't come back to redo this stage, because this fight was absolutely terrible. I'll just let the round 2 footage speak for itself on why that's the case.
ここを通すわけにはいかんのだ。
No EMS today, folks. This stage didn't have many outtakes to begin with, but neither of the few I have isn't all that humorous or worth giving the spotlight to. Can't force it sometimes, you know? Yeah, get used to a lack of in-depth analysis for most of these stages in general. X4 level design is fairly straightforward with nothing gimmicky or complex. The jungle area is no exception, just another playground to run through, and it's also in a precarious position in just about any type of playthrough. Because yeah, on that note, two weapons still don't necessarily grant a whole lot of opportunities to freshen the gameplay. Certainly not enough to avoid leaning on the buster so much. Though in this case, leaving Web Spider for later is arguably a terrible idea for pretty much any run that isn't a minimalist or buster only. If you want to use your weapons to their maximum potential, you'd need the damn lightning web to get the arm parts. That's why I'll be omitting Web Spider from the extra video, because you need to do his stage early if you're doing playthroughs like this. It helps that the stage is, in my opinion, one of the easiest in the game, so you'll literally not be missing out on much. Web Spider is... what's a nice way to put this? The mincing. He's pitifully easy, alright. A boss battle where you could literally put your mind on autopilot and still beat the stuffing out of him. And that's exactly what I did in the first round. Literally had to make a double take in my editing program when I looked at the first footage and was like, why am I playing around so much with just the slashers? The amount of disrespect you can dish out to the poor guy should be illegal, and you'll see it in full throttle in the final stage rematch. Or I guess in this case, round 3. But yeah, I'll spare you the details. I need all the time I can get for this weapon analysis without going over 10 minutes again. This weapon has a very polarizing stance. That's mainly because when it's always criticized, it's mostly because players focus too much on the damage output. In reality, this weapon is generally not meant for offensive strategies. If you treat it like it's supposed to be a substitute for the buster or any other offensive weapon, I have to be frank and say that's not what the weapon was designed for. Lightning Web is strictly a utility weapon. Sure, you can hurt stuff with it and even paralyze some foes who are weak to it, but the game explicitly tells you that you can wall jump and double jump with the assistance of the web. It's a platforming tool, not a fancy weapon you can kill stuff with. I think we're underestimating just how abusable this thing really is. Being able to jump off the web is basically a free pass to just ignore anything that's obstructing your path. It's not just something speedrunners use to save time in certain sections, you know? When you frame things from a casual gameplay perspective, having that one tool that can just let you bypass any pesky obstacle is just the game being too generous with options. Not to mention being able to still use your buster expands those options and provide flexibility. That's why I tried my damnness not to use the web too much for this run. When you can skip whole rows of enemies with a well-placed web, which the next video will showcase, it'd have looked more like a pacifist run than a playthrough meant to give other weapons spotlight. So yeah, I feel like Lightning Web's utility is a little too useful for its own good, but it is a godsend for providing a brainless solution for getting out of precarious situations. The charged version of Lightning Web is where it, unfortunately, causes some points to be deducted from it, hence why the ranking you see here is sort of in the middle ground. It's a nice area of effect, but there's no utility for it other than being a decent shield for destroyable projectiles, but Frost Tower is already the better shield since it blocks almost every type of projectile in the game, even ones that look like they shouldn't be able to be destroyed. And if you want area of effect, charged aiming laser, twin slasher, and even charged Frost Tower are far better options over it. Granted, it's not completely useless, but charged web is definitely outclassed by other charges, and you really have to go out your way to use the charged web in a bunch of silly, unnecessary situations, and even then it's not that rewarding. That's why I settled for a middling grade, since its overall usefulness ultimately hinges on what type of player you are. That's what makes it pretty good at the end of the day. It rewards more crafty players who wish to use their head a little bit more to make their life easier, but it's not a necessity to succeed either. Not every weapon is meant to destroy stuff, nor are they meant to compete with your X-Buster. The faster we can accept that, the sooner more utility-based weapons can be acknowledged and appreciated instead of unfairly scrutinized. The game provides you with a unique tool with properties exclusive to it with practical uses. What you do with it is ultimately up to you, but just because you don't want to use it doesn't make it a bad weapon. That's just called personal preference, and personal preference does not equal objectivity. subjectivity. So that's why when I see things like, lightning web is objectively bad, I have to eye roll and call it out. That hot take stems from two issues. One, a lack of comprehension of the web's purpose, and two, forcing one's own playstyle and opinion upon the general player. I could go on forever, but my point's been established. Debating over subjective things is ultimately pointless either way, especially when these games are far from linear and there's no definitive best way to play. There's only a your way. But you should always respect other people's way too, even if you disagree with theirs. Theirs is just as valid as yours. With that out of the way, time to keep on trucking. Next up is Storm Owl stage for the you-know-what upgrade. And oh crap, I actually went through this whole thing without messing up or stumbling on my words. Wow. Anyway, until then, stay chill, y'all.